Hi everyone, Lucas here, and today we're starting a new series. A series where I talk with my favorite photographers, and today I'm talking to Cloda, who has a brilliant work documenting Irish culture like horse fairs and Irish Republican teams. So first just hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you getting on?
I'm good too. So first I just want you to talk a little bit about yourself and about your photography. What do you do?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I suppose my name is Cloda, but I work under the Instagram handle 1eurofiddy for some reason, but it works, so we'll keep it now. I work in healthcare in real life, in photography life. I do a lot of documentary photography, kind of in different areas. I suppose I've really honed in on like the horse culture area.
Yeah.
But I suppose I've also done stuff around Republican events and just, I suppose, a lot of things that go into Irish history or just the changing face of Irish culture. But I suppose the main two things I've kind of, I suppose, really focused on is horse culture and I suppose the Republican culture, specifically in Derry. But like I also have interest in like Irish mythology and like I suppose how things change, you know, politically and socially and all.
How did you get, like, why 1eurofiddy?
It's a long story.
No, that's okay.
Kind of embarrassing. I'm not going to go for the full story, but basically I didn't know I was going to be a photographer or take up photography. I just needed an Instagram account.
Yeah.
And I was kind of getting into like really small, shitty photography on the iPhone. And I was just sitting across from a Deals shop, and everything in Deals is €1.50. And at the time, I had lots of pictures of Dublin, so I was like, €1.50, because fiddy is kind of the Dublin accent on the word 50. So
I remember when I met you, I was doing a video at Smithsfield Horse Fair, and I was like, "Hi, how are you? What's your Instagram?" Because I wanted to put your tag on the video. And then you were like, 1eurofiddy, and then I didn't understand shite. I was just like, okay. And then after I couldn't find it.
It's a real embarrassing one for like when you're at fairs or events and you're like trying to make contacts. You're like, so what's your Instagram handle? And I go, it's 1eurofiddy.
Yeah.
You're just like, you instantly lose people. They're like, what the fuck does that mean?
And you said about documentary. So like sometimes when I talk about your work with some people describe as street photography, but I think what you do is like, it is documentary, full-on photography. What would you describe your style?
It definitely probably started as street photography. I think now, like I would agree, I think it's gone into documentary.
Yeah.
But I think documentary, like it probably can be street photography too. Like I think the two might like overlap a little bit.
Yeah.
I would definitely say it's documentary. You know, and I don't know, everyone's version of documentary looks a little bit different, I suppose. But that's it's documentary, and a lot of documentary stuff happens on streets. So there you go.
Yeah. And one thing that, like, at least for me here in Dublin, I don't see many women doing this type of work. How do you feel on being a woman and doing documentary or doing street or as a photographer on the street? Do you have any thoughts on like being a woman or like not seeing?
Well, everyone on Instagram assumes I'm a fella straight away. So there definitely must be a shortage then of like women like documentary or street photographers. There are definitely a lot of them out there. I don't know, like I suppose there probably is like real barriers to it, like I suppose in what you can access and what you can't, and where you feel safe and where you don't. But it does open up doors too, because I think like maybe people might trust you more, or like maybe they might humour you for the wrong reasons more. Like sometimes when you're at a horse fair, there's an old fella thinking he might get his wicked way with you. You stay there till you get the picture and you leave. So like it's tricky, and I would definitely say like I can see in that field like it's kind of male dominated. I do think because it's like there's loads of women in photography, but I think documentary and street, I don't know, it's probably barriers, maybe safety concerns. Maybe the group is already so established as male, it's hard to kind of get in. I don't know. I think things are probably changing, but
I think they are. I asked this question because as a photographer, as like immigrant photographer, as young, not too young, but a little bit younger, I can see that in street and documentary, at least in Dublin, the most majority are older white men. So that's why I asked that question for you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, like I've seen it too, older white men really dominate photography and I think a lot maybe of art in general, but and I suppose, I don't know. I don't know the exact history of it, but like maybe they had more access to cameras back in the day or had more funds back in the day, so I don't know.
Yeah. And like you said that you shoot a lot of the horse fairs and Republican teams. Do you have a favorite that you like more or like you like both equally?
Probably because I have like a family history and like my family would have gone to horse fairs when I was a kid and stuff. I probably enjoy that more because it feels like nostalgic and like it's probably more my comfort zone. But at the same time, I wasn't actually mad into the Republican stuff before because I was just doing the marches, and like once you've seen one marching band, you've really seen all of them. But then I kind of ended up being able to tap into the use of Derry and the internment bonfires and stuff, and that kind of I suppose maybe got me way back interested again because they were great crack, they were great fun, and you know they're in a Republican area. Every one of them, they're an individual. Whatever their thoughts and beliefs are their own. But I suppose the overarching thing, it's a Republican event. But that I suppose that kind of re-sparked, I suppose, my love for that area of photography because it was different, and you know the kids or the young people haven't chosen their identity yet or what they're going to do with their lives. They just exist in a space that kind of a little bit chosen for them.
There's a lot of history there as well.
A lot of history and like a lot of trauma and stuff. So. I thought it was fun being there, and I was actually almost about to give up the Republican stuff at the start of the year, so I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, no, I think ask this question because I think for me, it feels like the Republican stuff would be more fun, even for the kids from the area. Even like at your exhibition, I was talking to the two fellas from Derry, and just like listening and telling stories on how they got stuff to make like their bonfires, and it was just like. It seems like it's a fun day to be around shooting photographs. Do you know?
It was fun. Like there was a few like strange moments, but it was also really fun. Like I had people drive up to me in cars and like quiz me on what was happening with the photos, and like I definitely had to explain myself to a few people as to what I was doing there. But like it definitely worked out. Like in some ways, there's a massive cultural difference because I'm from Kerry. That was in Derry. Like I haven't lived anywhere near the life they have. But I think once you went in with like a bit of respect and just like whatever their opinion is, just respect it. They really kind of enjoyed letting you be there and talk to them. And even the people that stopped me, I think once you just were like, these kids kind of trust me. You don't know who these kids are related to, so you're like, like if I said, oh, that kid over there, he says I'm good, and then that fellow over there says I'm good. Eventually, it was just like you're just good.
Was it hard to get access to Derry with like to make friends there, to make the kids to trust you because like you said, you're not from there, do you know?
It wasn't too bad, but again, I suppose I do have the privilege of like being clued into a bit of their context and their history and being from Ireland and you know having I suppose maybe some political beliefs and ideologies that are similar enough to themselves. So I think it was difficult the first time I went to the bonfire because that is kind of just the kids. Like you can go to any Republican march, you're allowed to be there. You can be there as press. They can't really do anything. But like the bonfires was like, you really had to kind of be let in. And it was they're in very like they're like within housing estates and stuff. So you're kind of like you're in their place really. So the first time I went, like there was a bit of like I wouldn't know hostility, but like they weren't just like here, come take a picture. It was like who are you? What are you doing here? Show us your Instagram. You know, like and then I suppose I threw this back and forth, and then I suppose the first time was just establishing like I would take pictures. I wasn't for any newspaper. I wasn't with the PSNI. If you ask me not to show your face online, I won't. And then I went up again for Easter Monday. So a few of them might have recognised me, but like Easter Monday was a bit of a hairier event. Like But again, they would have seen, a few of them were following me from the first bonfire, so like they would have seen again that like they were happy with the way everything was portrayed, and then I ended up getting invited back for the next one. Yeah, I was going to go anyways, but the invite was nice.
I think it's better if you know people there. Yeah. How like do you usually take your photographs? It's like, because when I take photographs, I like everything very candid. I don't really.
Yeah.
Sometimes I interact with people. Say if I'm at Smithfield.
Yeah.
I would talk to people there and all, and try to like make friends with everyone. But I don't try to interact too much.
Yeah.
How do you do your photographs? Do you talk much with people or?
It's a mixture. Like sometimes I like a scene. Like I don't want a candid portrait, but I like a candid scene.
Yeah.
A few things happening. So in that case, like I wouldn't talk to them maybe straight away. Might take a picture, talk to them, and then wait around and see what happens. I'm a very slow photographer because none of my cameras have light meters, so I kind of have to either ask permission or maybe get chatting first and then step back and try to do the candid thing, just so I'm like I've always got this line like, oh God, bear with me, I'm the slowest photographer in the world, so I have to get the light meter on the phone and kind of do all this stuff. So I don't know, would you describe my work as candid or, but I think there's a mixture between like kind of stage stuff and kind of candid stuff.
I saw you in Smithfield, and I think it's so lovely. Like, you fucking blend. Do you know? It is so good. Do you know? You kind of like, it feels like you know half of them, and then you go there, talk to people, and then while you're taking photographs, it's just like, it feels like you belong, which I think is very important for a documentarian.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's nice to watch. I'm not even like, you know, it is lovely. Do you know? I watched you before around the place. But yeah, we kind of jumped something.
Okay.
Because I wanted to know how did you start? Do you know how photography started for you? Do you know? Because we talked about your name, 1eurofiddy.
Yeah.
But then I was gonna ask you that, and then I just got like.
Yeah. I don't know, like there's no clear start point. Like there was no one in my family that was into photography or art or anything like that whatsoever. It didn't, like in the very early 20s, didn't even cross my mind. I think it was when like iPhones made cameras really accessible to you.
Yeah.
I was kind of, I don't know, I was kind of getting into it, but like nothing major. I wasn't doing anything mad with the iPhone, but kind of, I suppose what people would call photo dumps now, where you take like a blurry picture of. I was like, oh, cool, I'm deadly, I'm a photographer. And then I think maybe film cameras were having their retro comeback. So then I was like able to buy a disposable for like, I was living in England at the time, so maybe like £10 or something, and get it developed. And then I was like, oh, this is deadly. And
do the kids in Derry know that you lived in England?
I'm not sure, maybe, I don't know.
No, I'm joking.
So like, there was a lot of messing around with disposable cameras for ages, and then a point and shooting in an SLR, and then I was kind of like, how can you make this a bit better? So it was definitely a slow progress. Like I'd say I've solidly been doing it for 5 years, but like for 3 years, I think I was piss arsing around with iPhones and disposables, and like I didn't even know you had to keep negatives for years. It's all gone. Like,
so they're all gone.
They're all, I think so. Like, unless Boots and Jervis wants to have a real deep dive for me, but like, and I was like, I remember the first time I got into the halftone exhibition. Like I was barely had my toe in the water photography, and I'd like gone the disposable camera, the thing's printed 6x4, and I just took a picture of the picture and submitted that. And it did get in, but like I had no idea like that you could scan film and like you could do anything like that.
I mean, that's how you learn things.
I think as well, actually, a real starting point is I went to see Eamon Doyle's exhibition in the RHA many years ago, and I was kind of like, this is kind of what I thought would be cool photography, but I'd never seen anyone do it before. I don't know how to explain it. It was kind of like street photography, but it was a lot to do with, I think, like shapes and movement. And like they weren't portraits of people. It was kind of on the go, or like maybe still lifes of something that's built on the ground or something. And that's kind of like the things that were like, oh, cool. And then I was like, oh, it actually is really cool. Like people get into RHA with this stuff. So, but then I never actually went back to doing that type of thing. I kind of kept going.
Now you use 120 film.
A mixture. Since about like 6 months ago, I bought a Mamiya 645 off my friend. before that, nearly everything was done on a Canon A1.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I've started using 120. It's great. It's really level things
I
up.
love 120. Yeah, I have a Rolleiflex.
Yeah.
That's what I'm using for 120 so far.
The only thing about the Mamiya is it eats through fucking batteries. My Christ.
Rolleiflex, no battery.
Oh no, there's so many batteries in this yoke. Jesus Christ.
Okay. So, did you ever had a problem taking a photograph or something that you weren't expecting to happen in that moment?
I've never had a problem taking a photograph. Particularly at horse fairs, I have had some problems with people that I have like befriended over the horse fairs.
Okay.
Like one like really old man at Spansel Hill propositioned me for sex in the middle of the day. And when I was at Ballinasloe, a man that I'd like taken many pictures of before and we'd like very good rapport, kind of went in for like the cheek kiss, and I kind of was like, no, he went for the mouth kiss and I went to the cheek, and then he went to the other side, then he kind of landed on the neck, and I was like,
oh.
like I was like, oh God. Like people around were like looking and stuff, they're like, is she, because we started off real friendly, and he was like, well. Yeah, so like I've never actually had a problem taking the picture. Not recently anyways, as far as I remember. But yeah, like.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big problem already there. Do you know?
Well, the guy, I kind of felt, because I told people about the man who did like sex proposition, and I also felt bad because he was that old and like that much of that kind of, I think, Irish trope of like the forgotten kind of bachelor farmer, that I was like, maybe his mind isn't working well.
Yeah.
I was also like, because I was like looking at him, and I was like, how do you think I'd want to have sex with you down the lane in the middle of the day of a crowded place for free? I was like, maybe you don't have the whole shilling here.
Yeah.
Because like some people when I told were like really like mad about it, and I was like kind of like I just kind of walked away. Like it was broad daylight. It was a crowded place. It was kind of like he had a few edging towards that questions that I tried to like play off playfully, and the next thing was like, will you come down the lane with me? It won't take long. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I was just like, oh, look at our conversation has ended here. Like,
fuck me. Okay. Maybe let's ask you something lighter. Like on your photographs, do you have a particular photograph or a series or a project that is closer to your heart, or something? If you have a photo that you look at it and be like, that's my favorite, or that's doesn't have to be something that people find good, or like you know, something that you.
I kind of do, and I didn't realize it till recently. Last Friday, I was invited to be part of this like exhibition for Way Bad Print, and it wasn't like, you know, they're really into like Rizzo printing, so they asked a lot of people to make these kind of 8-fold prints, which is basically an A3 page, I think, folded, so that it kind of reads like a book, and then you can have one massive print on the back. And kind of true that like I wanted to look like real serious or have something like really cutting and like cool. And I was like, nah, like eight tiny little pages is not enough to like get a full theme across.
Okay.
And like I suppose like it took me ages. I was like way beyond the deadline getting it to them and everything. But what I came up with was like a theme called like Pettycon, which is something that my granny would say to like describe, you know, cute, innocent things, animals, kind of. And I suppose like it kind of got me thinking then, like I have loads, I didn't realize I was doing it, but at horse fairs, I was taking lots of pictures of like things that weren't people and weren't horses. Lots of like puppies in men's pockets, ferrets in cages, people holding chickens, and like not even like kind of ignoring the person holding the animal. So then I was like, oh, I think I've actually touched it. Like maybe that's the heartwarming thing. It's like you're thinking about your granny and like how she used to bring you to the horse fairs, and she was like, I suppose, she's still alive and everything, like in all aspects of her life, she'd be a very stoic, hard woman. But when it comes to, and like she was always around horses as well. When it comes like to people, she couldn't give a shite. She'd cut the legs from out from under you. But when it comes to the animals, like she treats them like a newborn baby. It's like, I used to have this lovely puppy, and like, I remember my granny, when I brought him down last Christmas, she was like holding him like a baby. She was like, how does he sleep? How's he eating? How's his walk? All the rest. And then like if you asked her like, told her something about, I don't know, a relative, she'd be like, feck them, I'm talking about that. Like, and they could have had like a hard time or something. She'd be like, no.
And did you start going to horse fairs with her, or like?
It would have been through her. Like, I probably went with my parents and her.
Okay.
But I suppose like she, would have been the last, connection to like old Ireland.
Yeah.
And she would have been really into it because she kind of also started the kind of horse culture in our family. The horse culture doesn't go back that long.
Okay.
It was kind of done out of necessity. So it was definitely through her. And then like we probably stopped when I was an early teen. Like she probably got to retirement age, and my mom and dad weren't massively interested without her. And then I probably went years without doing it, and I was like, when I got back into photography, I was like, oh, this is a reason for me to be at horse fairs.
Yeah.
Because the horse fairs can be extremely fucking boring if you're not actually buying or selling anything or like have people there. But the photography was a nice way to be back in it.
Yeah.
So the Pettigon project is probably something that is not particularly cool. It's no big social commentary. It's not. But it just reminds me of her, and also the word Pettigon, like it's an Irish word, but if you put it into, I couldn't find a direct translation. I kind of had to go with what she said it was. So she's probably mashed a couple of Irish words together to come up with this thing, because it kind of sounds English as well. Pet, small animal. Petticon. Because she doesn't speak Irish herself. She just has lots of these kind of words, I suppose, colloquial words that sound a bit Irish. But probably, the Pettigon project. Not project. I made it in a day for an exhibition, but it kind of touched me a bit.
And on your photographs, like mainly the Republican part, I think, in the horse fairs too, because you just described, there is a lot of emotion and there is a lot of history for you. But do you, like when you're making work, do you always try to put your perspective or shoot what you believe? Or you more like you just want to document? Sometimes you don't really want to put those feelings in it. Do you know?
It's hard to say. Like, I like to try and be absolutely unbiased and like shoot.
Yeah.
And like sometimes when I like write about the picture or the project, I try to keep it like fact based. But then again, there's a reason I was at the Republican bonfires, not the Loyalist one. So like I think all documentary has a little bit of bias. There has to be something that like pulls you into it. Like there's a reason I'm not documenting, I don't know, fucking ballet culture or something like it. Like there's probably some, I don't know. I don't know, like is all documentary a little bit biased to the person that's you know, like I don't know. And then because as well you get to choose the pictures yourself, so you're kind of choosing a little, even as much as you want to be unbiased, you're choosing the way you want to tell the story a little bit. So yeah, like I try to keep opinions out of it, but I don't know how much that works. Like there's probably like an overarching opinion of like I want horse fairs to continue and be promoted. But like, you know.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Okay, going like completely far away from horse fair or republicanism, would you have a dream place that you'd like to shoot, like a city, a country, or somewhere you're like, I really want to shoot there?
Tricky question. I don't know. I never really thought about it. I'm a bit of a home bird. I think I need to know the context of the place. And like when I take pictures, I like to have the story behind them. As of yet, I don't think I have any massive stories like behind. Like if I was to go somewhere else, I'd probably be keeping it kind of close to the culture and the lifestyles I know. And maybe it might be Scotland or Glasgow, just because they kind of mirror the kind of culture in the north of Ireland in terms of like they'd have like, you know, strong kind of Irish pulls and then strong, very like loyal to the crown pulls. I think like I could do something good there. Like I don't go on holidays often. When I do, generally leave the camera at home. I don't like to be
really.
Okay.
Are you like the type of person that like? Do you always have your camera on you, or do you not really? It's more like you're planning to go somewhere and then you bring the camera.
I used to try and be the person that had the camera on me all the time. And then I think that's when I started to realize like I'm not really that much of a street photographer. I don't have the eye for that. I think that I'm better when I know like
what to do.
There's an event to happen. Like even when I go for a horse fair, sometimes I'd walk around for an hour and a half first without actually taking any picture. Like I really need to. I don't know what it is. Like I need to settle myself.
But do you plan your shots before you're leaving home, or is something that kind of like happen?
No, like I think I know what I like, and part of it is horse culture. So if I know there's anything to do with that on a day, and it could be so much, it mightn't be a horse fair, it might be visiting someone's stable yard or something. I'd be like, okay, I'll bring the camera. The odd time, if it's a lovely sunny day, and because I also like a bit of street photography. I like taking pictures of like buildings or things that maybe reflect what's going on in like Irish society.
Yeah.
I probably don't do it as much now just because at work and everything it's hard and like weekends are fast and it's dark at 4 or 5. I really don't, especially because the Mamiya is heavy as fuck. Like my battery's broken going around.
Baby
I think the bike is broke as well, so like it's hard to. I used to be way more like that. I don't really do that so much now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really thought you'd have a camera on you all the time.
I do and I don't. Like I went down to Kerry there like 2 weeks ago, and actually I kind of brought the camera everywhere. Kerry is actually a place, to go back to the previous question, like if I could actually settle there for a while, I think I'd like to finish up, like just an overarching kind of Kerry project that pulls in a few themes I like. Like I like horse fairs, I like mythology, the Wren Days down there, I have loads of pictures of that.
Yeah.
I used to have a real interest in like Holy Mary kind of iconography and like kind of pulling some context out of that, and just loads of that down there. So I'd almost like loop them all in together and try to push that as like a Kerry thing. Yeah, if I had to spend a lot of time somewhere, I'd probably actually go with Kerry.
Okay. Do you have a dream camera? So.
Oh God, I'm like the least photographer ever. I don't even know if fucking lenses on my current camera. Maybe everyone's mad about Lucia, so maybe that.
Okay.
I like what I'm working with. I'd like my cameras with working light meters. They're doing me grand.
Do you have one of a light meter?
No.
So you're happy with your gear? You're
happy enough with my gear. Like I'm thinking of getting a digital camera soon, but I don't know. Again, I don't know.
What would you get? Digital?
I'm not even sure. I know someone was talking, I've heard good things about those TX Fuji ranges.
The medium format ones?
Yeah, well, they're tiny, but they seem medium. They're like...
I know, so I don't know.
They almost look like an SLR, but I think they're called Fujifilm TX, and then you like TX 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I haven't looked that deeply into it either, so I just seen someone I know had one, and I was like, that looks kind of good.
Okay. And what's next? Do you have any future plans, any exhibitions, more zines? Because you just released 2 zines, and by the way, the Republican one, I haven't seen the other one, but that it's really well made.
Thanks.
Did you do that? How did you do it? Sorry.
No, actually, a guy called Eric Steins designed that for me.
Oh, okay.
So that was deadly. So I actually got the Agility Award, which kind of funded the Republican project that I very nearly gave up on. So yeah, I was able to like pay him to do that and kind of.
Well, when you say like he designed, did he edit your photos? I mean,
no, God, no. I chose the photos. He kind of chose like the zine, what kind of zine it was. So it's like stitched at the back. It's got a half front cover. Yeah. He kind of shows like the design with the front cover. Throughout the zine, there's kind of some like lily designs. Yeah. So we kind of did that. But then we went through it together to like decide where the photos go. Like he had a lot of input, like in terms of I think this would look good here. I decided.
Did you try to tell a story where like when you're flipping pages, does it connect with that, and then one thing you like leads to another?
Definitely. Like I find it hard to like show a picture by itself. I love to have like a few to tell the story. So like that definitely told a story. Like it starts with kind of, I suppose, environment shots of Derry that kind of show, I suppose, what graffiti is on the wall and kind of, little aspects of what's affecting the younger people's lives. Then it goes into, I suppose, a little like bit of the paramilitary stuff. I didn't want it to focus on paramilitaries at all. Only had the pictures of them in there in the context of the kids' lives. Yeah. And then it like flows into, I suppose, the building of the bonfires, and then the bonfires naturally burning down. It kind of was easy enough to tell that story, I think. So sorry, your question in terms of the future. I'm going to try bring that exhibition up to Derry. Trying to find a venue at the moment, but the people involved have been asking they want to see it, so I'm going to try to bring it up. Some people have mentioned bringing it to Glasgow. I'm not sure about that yet.
Okay.
It could be a lot of effort, like the exhibition, like it takes, in the planning of this exhibition, I don't think I took a picture in 2 months. Like it was just so hard to do.
I know, like I had 1 year, so.
So I'm like, do I really want to try bring this to Glasgow? I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Then I need to actually sit down and make a plan of what's coming next. Like I think the kind of what I got done with the kids in Derry this year has probably opened more doors in terms of like building relationships and different aspects of their life. So I'll see where that goes with them. I would like to, I don't have my angle on horse fairs and stuff yet.
Okay.
I'm happy to keep shooting them because I enjoy being there, but I don't know what I'm trying to pursue. And it's kind of like, they're a very heavily covered thing. So I'm not sure where they're going. I'll keep going, but I don't know where they're going. What else? I don't know. I need to have a little think about what's next. I think Who Fears to Speak, the Republican project is a little bit too much in my head yet to like.
Yes.
Like I haven't even posted the zines that people have bought, so like I haven't projected onto the future yet. But also I do think I'd like to. I think I have a lot of Kerry content, and that's a very beautiful place, kind of steeped in a lot of the themes I like.
Yeah.
That like I think that could be worked on. Again, all this stuff needs money, so.
Yes, I know.
Slow down.
I'm just curious about something I forgot to ask. Do you have horses nowadays?
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh, my uncle does.
Okay, but you don't have horses.
Oh, no, I don't have any horses. I wish.
Okay. Where people can find you online if they want to follow you?
You can find me at 1eurofiddy at Instagram, and that's really the only place you can find me at the moment.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say, where can people find the horse? Like, my uncle's a bit of a character. I don't really want them known.
Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks for having me.
Lovely to have you and to know more about you. And yes, if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below, and thanks for watching.